everybody. So today I'm going to film my labor and delivery story with my son. He is now 2, so it's a little late, but I wasn't doing YouTube at the time, so better late than never. He is 2 and he was born on April 15th of 2014. So let's start April 13th. April 13th, yeah. April 13th, they say that walking like helps speed up the process, like on your last days or whatever. So on the 13th, we went to a store called IKEA. And if you don't know, IKEA is like this huge like furniture store, and they have like all things for your house. It's like huge. It's like seriously like a maze when you walk there. So we were there like all day while I walked and walked and walked the whole store. And the next night, which was April 14th, before I went to sleep, I was on the phone with my boyfriend, and I was like, I'm really starting to feel like a lot of pressure, you know? Like I feel a lot of like somebody's pushing down on me, like right like below my stomach. Like somebody's like pushing, that's what it feels like. So he was like, just go to sleep, you know, whatever. And my due date was for April 21st, so I still had like a week. So that was April 14th before I went to bed. Then at 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up. I didn't have pain, but I felt like I had to go to the bathroom. So I got up and I went, nothing. So I was like, that's weird. So I went back to sleep, and I kept waking up with that same feeling. And I didn't think I was having contractions because they didn't hurt. They were just like uncomfortable, but it would wake me up. And it happened a couple times. It started at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then it happened a few more times, and at 7 I had to pee. So I got up and I went to pee. And before I go any further, this is like super TMI. If you're not a mom, or you like get grossed out easily, or I don't know, you might not want to watch this. It's super TMI. I'm gonna just be honest and not sugarcoat anything. So anyway, I got up to pee, and it was 7 o'clock, and when I wiped, I had like, it looked like mucus, but it wasn't like yellow, it was like clear, and it had blood in it, just on the paper. And so I was like, what the heck? Because I knew about a mucus plug, but I didn't know what that was. So I woke up my mom, and she was like, oh, it's nothing, just go back to sleep. And I was like, Mom, what do you mean? Like I feel like these things, and I have this like on my toilet paper, like it's something. And she was like, no, don't worry about it, go back to sleep. I had a doctor's appointment anyway that same day at 10:45 of April 15th. This is already April 15th. So she was like, just go back to sleep, and we'll have to get up in a couple hours for your doctor's appointment. So I did not go back to sleep. I got on my computer and I googled what it was, and it was a bloody show is what it's called. And I had never heard of a bloody show. And so I was looking at like Yahoo and all these different sites where people can comment, and all these people were saying how that happened to them like right before they went into labor. And they'd be like the day before or the day of, or like just comments like that. So I was like, holy crap, like he's coming today. And so I texted my mom. They didn't want to get up, and I told her, and she was like, just go back to sleep. So I was like, what the heck is her problem? So then I got ready and we went to the doctor, and by then they were a little bit stronger, but they still weren't hurting me. And every time I would go to the doctor, because it's like once a month, I think. And then once you get closer to your due date, it's every 2 weeks, and then it's every week. So every single time I would go, they would ask me, have you started experienced contractions or Braxton Hicks or anything? And I never had nothing. Like, my whole entire pregnancy was like the best pregnancy. I loved being pregnant. I never got sick. It was perfect. I loved everything about my pregnancy. It was perfect. And when I got to the doctor, they were like, so are you experiencing any contractions? And I was like, yes. They just started a couple hours ago, and that's it. I had never felt nothing before. So she said, okay, I'm going to tell the doctor and we'll get you in right away. So once I got in there, the doctor came in and checked me right away, and he told me I was 3 centimeters dilated. So my mom was with me, and he was like, you're 3 centimeters dilated, go to the hospital. And I had his diaper bag packed, but I didn't have nothing for me packed. This was still 6 days before my due date. I didn't have nothing for me, and I just had his diaper bag ready. And I think I had just gotten it ready like the day before or something. So my mom was like, asked the doctor, should we go now or should we wait a little bit and then go? And he was like, no, go now, because if there's like, you have to wait a long time or whatever, just go home, get your stuff, and go. So that's what we did. And I came home, I got his diaper bag, and I started putting together things for me. Then my mind was just racing. I didn't know what to take, and I was like, forget it. So I was like, if anything, I'll just like text somebody to come and get my things, and that was it. So we head to the hospital, and I started getting hungry. Oh, by then, once I was home, they were a little bit stronger. They weren't like really, really painful, but they were starting to hurt me. Or like just starting to hurt me. They were like super uncomfortable to like hurt, like pain, like in between. And so we leave to go to the hospital, and I'm hungry, my mom's hungry, so I was like, let's go to McDonald's drive-thru. And then on the way, we're like, tell people, you know, I'm going into labor. We're like calling my aunts and my uncles and my grandparents, and just telling them, you know, we'll let you know what they say, you know, don't try to come to the hospital now, just, we don't know yet. So we went to McDonald's drive-thru, and I got nuggets, and every time I would get my nuggets and dip it into the ketchup, I would get a contraction. And then I would like put the nugget away, and I'd be like, I can't. And then it would go away. And then once I'd feel like okay again, then I would wait, and then I would try to take another bite, and then it would come again. I think I ended up taking like 2 bites out of like 1 nugget, out of like my whole meal. And once we got to the hospital, I was like just ready to like get in, and you know, they were starting to become a little painful. So we go in, and they show us to where you have to like register or whatever, check in. And as I'm checking in, like I just feel like the lady is going so slow. She's taking so long, and I'm like, I really, really need to like be seen, and like, you know. And she was like taking her time, and once they finally put me in a room, it was literally like right around the corner from where the check-in was. So they checked me there, and I believe I was 6 centimeters. And so I gave me a robe and told me to get undressed, and by then they were already painful. And they were way closer together, and they were already painful. So they put me on the bed, and I think they just checked me and told me I was 6 centimeters, and I believe they put me in a wheelchair and took me up to my delivery room. By the time I got there, I was like, you know, when can I get my epidural? And they were like, my mom kept telling me to wait and to not do it yet. And I'm like, why? Like, I don't understand why I should wait, you know, like I feel like I want it, I need it now. So it took a while for them to come in to give it to me. Once they finally did, my grandma, well, before that, my grandma showed up. She left work after I told her, you know, we don't know yet, just wait till we call. She left work and she was there with me. Then when they came in to do the epidural, I think everybody had to leave. And well, they did it. And I remember they made me go and watch a video before I went into labor about epidural, because I said that I wanted to do it. So I saw that you can either sit like with your knees up, or I think like crisscross or something like that. And so the lady told me to sit crisscross. She tried to get the epidural in me 2 times and it wouldn't go, and they kept, like, she was really struggling. And somebody else came in to help and she couldn't do it. So I remembered from the video, like, there was 2 ways to position yourself. So I told her, I said, should I put like my legs like together and sit like that? And she was like, yeah, you can try that. So I did it and it went in right away. So I was like so irritated. So I finally got it, and little by little, like, more families started showing up, more families started showing up. And then by that time, I don't even know what time it was. But I left my doctor's appointment at 10:45. It was probably like, I don't know, like 3 or something. And nothing really happened. We were just like waiting, and they would come and check and come and check. And then he started, like, it started slowing down the process. Like, I think I'm saying like a lot, sorry. It started slowing down the process, and they gave me ice. They told me to eat ice to, like, wake up the baby. I don't know if he was like going to sleep or something like that. And they gave me ice to eat to, like, get it going again. And then I just remember it was 7 o'clock and I felt super pain again. And I was like, you know, what's going on? Like, I don't feel my epidural anymore. I'm in pain. And the nurse checked me. She said I was 10 centimeters dilated. And then she had the other nurse check me, and the other nurse said I was 10 centimeters dilated. They said they were going to get the delivery doctor, but they told me that he's going to say that I'm not ready yet. So when they called him, he checked me. He was like, no, you still have time. You're about 8 centimeters. So the 2 nurses looked at each other and they were like, you know, like, I guess he does that often. And so he told me to wait till 7:30 and then we would start the delivery. So I was like, what? Like, I'm in pain, you know? He was like, we have to wait 30 minutes. So it was like the longest 30 minutes of my life. Then at 7:30, we started pushing. I had my sister, my grandmother, and my mother in the room. And my mom was holding, both my grandmothers, and my sister and my mom. And my mom was holding one leg, and my grandmother was holding the other leg, and they were helping me push. And I pushed and I pushed and I pushed for a whole hour and a half. And he just wouldn't come out. He was saying something like, there was like this lump you have to get, they had to go over or something, and I just couldn't get him over that. They kept telling me for the longest time, they can see the head. I would push and they're like, oh, we can see the head, we can see the head. And then I was like, at the end, I was just like, oh my God, shut up, because they've been seeing the head for like an hour and he's not coming out. So I was pushing and pushing and pushing. So he asked me, do you want me to get I guess like a kind of like a vacuum thing that like sucks them out, but you have like risk of him getting blood clots in his head. So I was like, no. And so he got like some kind of tool and he kept like pushing down on my hole. Like every time I would push, he would push down and push down on it. And I would feel like the pressure of him just like pushing down with something. And he was like, if he's not out by 9 o'clock, we're gonna have to do a C-section. And I was like getting really scared because I really didn't want to do a C-section. And so I kept pushing, and they were like, we can see the head. And I was like, well, what does his hair look like? And the doctor was like, oh, he has highlights, like trying to like lighten up the room, you know? So at 8:56, he was born. And I remember me pushing him out and the doctor saying, oh, that's what I did not want to happen. So when you hear that, you're like, holy shit, you know? What happened? So the doctor comes to me and I'm like, oh my God, I got so scared because I thought something was wrong with him. And I was like, and this is where it's about to get super TMI. He was like, you have a 4-degree tear. So I was like, what does that mean? And he was like, you ripped from one hole to the other hole. So I guess like the 4-degree tear is like the worst. And so I ripped hole to hole. So they had to give me another dose of the epidural, and he had to stitch me back up. I don't know how many stitches it was, but it took exactly 45 minutes to stitch me. And I just remember them giving me Jovi. They gave me him, and we did skin to skin. And for the whole 45 minutes, he was just laying on my chest and just looking around. He didn't cry. He was very good. I remember even when I pushed him out, he didn't cry. He was just like yelling. Like I remember saying like, "Oh, we have a screamer," and it didn't sound like a cry. So when they put him on me, took 45 minutes exactly, just skin to skin, and then after, I guess like they cleaned him up and all that, and he weighed 8 pounds 6 ounces, and he was 20.5 inches. And 20.5 inches long. And then I remember just them stitching me for 45 minutes, and I just lost a lot of blood. Like he told me that I lost so much blood. And I remember for like a week after that, I just would always feel lightheaded, like randomly. But anyway, once they stitched me back up, they took me to, I had to go to another room. And they put me in a wheelchair, and they went to take me up. And you couldn't sit along when you have, I don't know how it is when you have like a regular chair or like no chair, but with my chair, I couldn't sit for a long time, like it would hurt. So I just remember being in a wheelchair, and the nurse was like talking. I don't know if they were like getting paperwork, I don't know what she was doing, and she was just talking forever and just had me waiting right there. And I remember feeling like, oh my God, I feel like my ass is like, you know, on fire, like it hurt. And so they finally got me up there, and they would give me pain medicine and stuff for the pain, and I had to stay an extra day in the hospital. So I was there 3 days instead of 2. And then my son also had a very mild case of jaundice. I remember him telling me that it was, I don't remember exactly, but I remember him telling me that they did not have to put him under a light. Sometimes they have to put him under a light. He had it so little that they didn't have to do that. And then I just remember being in the hospital for an extra day. And I didn't even get to see, like I'm still sad, I didn't even get to see like his first poop or nothing. Like I really couldn't get up. I couldn't even sit up. Like I was just so badly torn. I remember just, it was horrible. Even when I came home, I had to have pain. They gave me oxycodone, I think it's called. And I remember him telling me that he couldn't give me a lot, and if I didn't feel pain anymore, not to take them and to throw them out, because I guess that's like something people get high off of. But I only took them when I needed to, and then I ended up throwing a couple away. And I remember they gave me a spray. It's like a cool off spray that you would just like spray down there if it would like start to hurt, and if it really hurt is when you take your pill. And then they gave me like a squirt bottle and like stool softeners to try to go to the bathroom, and they would tell me like, don't push, or just take the softener and don't push or nothing, because then you can break your stitches. And that lasted, I never had a problem with any of it. I know like some people have like their stitches torn and all that, or ripped, which I can't, so glad that didn't happen. But that's pretty much it, I think. I know I took notes just to like remember every point, but I don't know if I said them all. Let me check. Yeah. Yep. So that is my labor and delivery story. Thank you for watching. Sorry for saying and like so much. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please subscribe for more. Thank you. I also forgot to mention that I was 18 when I got pregnant, and I had my son at 19, and I'm 21 now.